An extensive investigation ensued, with over 15,000 DNA samples collected. Through meticulous research, investigators identified a potential perpetrator. The trial captivated the nation, with the prosecution presenting DNA evidence linking the suspect to the crime scene. The accused maintained innocence, claiming contamination of evidence. Despite the defense, the accused was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. However, the case remained shrouded in controversy, with ongoing appeals and questions about evidence handling. Join True Crime Stories as we delve into the complexities of this captivating case, exploring the evidence, theories, and lingering doubts that surround it. In the heart of Brembate di Sopra, a tranquil municipality nestled amidst the picturesque landscapes of Italy's Bergamo province, resided the Gambirasio family. Fulvio, the father, worked as an architect, meticulously designing structures across the region. Mora, the mother, dedicated her days to nurturing young minds as a local schoolteacher. Together, they raised their 4 children, instilling values of love, respect, and responsibility in each of them. Yara Gambirasio, born on May 21, 1997, was the second child and the eldest daughter, a vibrant and talented young girl. Her infectious smile and passion for rhythmic gymnastics brought joy to her family and friends. Yara's days were filled with the rhythm of training sessions, her graceful movements echoing within the walls of the local sports center. As November 2010 approached, excitement filled the air as Yara eagerly anticipated the upcoming regional gymnastics competition scheduled for December 5. Her dedication and perseverance shone through as she prepared for the event, practicing diligently with her team. On the fateful evening of November 26, 2010, Yara bid farewell to her family, promising to return home in time for dinner. She carried with her a stereo, a thoughtful gesture to lend to her gymnastics instructor, Silvia Prina. With a light-hearted step, she embarked on her usual route to the sports center. Hours ticked by, and Mora's heart grew heavy with worry as Yara's return was long overdue. The clock struck 7 p.m., and still, there was no sign of their beloved daughter. Fulvio and Mora tried to rationalize the situation, hoping that perhaps Yara had simply gotten distracted and lost track of time. As darkness enveloped the town, Mora's anxiety intensified. She dialed Yara's phone, but it went straight to voicemail. This was highly unusual behavior for Yara, a responsible and punctual young girl. Desperation gnawed at their souls as they reached out to Silvia Prina, who confirmed that Yara had left the sports center over half an hour ago. With each passing moment, the Gambirasio family's fears escalated. They took to the streets, frantically searching for any trace of their missing daughter. Meanwhile, Letizia Ruggieri, the magistrate on duty, wasted no time in mobilizing the authorities. State police and carabinieri, the military police, were swiftly deployed to scour the area, leaving no stone unturned in their quest to find Yara. The first crucial step was to retrace Yara's steps. Interviews with witnesses yielded conflicting accounts. Some claimed to have seen Yara engaged in a conversation with 2 men near a red car in the parking lot, but this lead quickly fizzled out. Undeterred, the community remained steadfast in their support. Hundreds of volunteers tirelessly combed the town and its surroundings, driven by the unwavering hope of finding Yara safe and sound. Ruggieri and her team meticulously sifted through every piece of information, determined to uncover the truth. The Gambirasio family underwent intense questioning, as investigators sought to understand if any family dynamics could have triggered Yara to run away. However, their inquiries revealed no evidence of discord or secrets that would have prompted such an action. In a bold move, Ruggieri authorized the wiretapping of hundreds of phones in the region, including that of the Gambirasio family home. This audacious strategy aimed to intercept any incriminating conversations that could shed light on Yara's disappearance. Simultaneously, investigators meticulously traced the movements of nearly 15,000 phones that had passed through the town on November 26, 2010. This painstaking effort yielded a crucial breakthrough. Yara's cell phone records revealed a significant clue. At 6:44 p.m., she had sent a text message to a friend, confirming their meeting time for the upcoming gymnastics competition. This dispelled any notion that Yara had voluntarily disappeared, as she was actively making plans for the future. Further analysis of the wiretaps placed in Yara's home provided additional reassurance. The Gambirasio family shared a strong bond, devoid of any dark secrets or history of discord that could have driven Yara to flee her loving home. However, a puzzling discovery emerged. Yara's phone had pinged off a tower in a nearby hamlet called Mapello at 6:49 p.m. on the evening of her disappearance. This revelation indicated that Yara had moved in the opposite direction of her home, a deviation from her usual path. Tracker dogs, renowned for their keen sense of smell, were brought in to assist in the search. After carefully sniffing through Yara's belongings, the dogs confidently led investigators towards Mapello. Their unwavering pursuit ended at a construction site, a place familiar to Yara's father, Flivio. He had once worked on the project as an architect, lending his expertise to the site's design. Although no trace of Yara was found at the construction site, its significance could not be overlooked. It hinted at the possibility that Yara had been held captive or kept there at some point during her disappearance. Investigators delved deeper into this new lead, exploring the possibility that Yara's father may have been the target of disgruntled employees. However, despite thorough investigation, no concrete evidence emerged to support this theory. Just as the investigation seemed to reach a standstill, a promising lead emerged from the sea of wiretapped conversations. A translator, meticulously listening to intercepted calls, stumbled upon a cryptic and unsettling phrase uttered in late November 2010. "Forgive me, God, I didn't kill her," the voice on the phone confessed. This chilling statement sent shockwaves through the investigation team. They immediately launched a manhunt, determined to track down the owner of the phone. Their relentless efforts led them to a Moroccan man named Mohammed Fikri, a construction worker residing in the Bergamo province. As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, Fikri's connection to the construction site in Mapello became apparent, especially since Fikri's van was found with a blood-stained mattress in the back. With a sense of urgency, Italian authorities intercepted a ferry going to Morocco on December 4th. Fikri was apprehended and brought into custody, facing charges of abducting Yara. The nation breathed a collective sigh of relief, believing that their suspect would lead them to Yara's whereabouts. However, as the investigation unfolded, a devastating truth emerged. The translator had misinterpreted the intercepted phrase. Fikri had intended to say, "Forgive me, God, I didn't sell her." He had planned to leave Bergamo in May 2010, and the blood found on the mattress in his van belonged to him, not Yara. The nation was plunged into despair. Their hopes of finding Yara before the festive season were shattered. The suspect they had believed would lead them to her turned out to be a false lead, a cruel twist of fate. As Christmas passed without any news, the Gambirasio family retreated further into their shell. Their private world had been turned upside down by the sudden and relentless media attention surrounding Yara's disappearance. In lieu of organizing torchlight processions to promote the search for Yara, the family opted for a mass, a solemn gathering to pray for her safe return. A few days after their first Christmas without Yara, the Gambirasio family granted a rare television interview. With tearful eyes and heavy hearts, they appealed for privacy and patience from the relentless media scrutiny. Their faith in the police and prosecutor Ruggieri remained unwavering, as they clung to the hope of finding Yara alive and well. They shared several photographs of Yara, hoping that their distribution through the media would jog the memories of potential witnesses. Flivio made an impassioned plea to the media, urging them to help restore normalcy to their lives amidst the chaos. He emphasized that their family values were built on love, respect, and honesty, and they would not be granting further interviews. Christmas had come and gone without any news, and the new year arrived with a heavy burden of uncertainty. As the days turned into weeks and autumn transitioned into winter, the Gambirasio family's pain deepened. They retreated further into their private world, seeking solace in their close-knit bonds. In February 26, 2011, a tragic discovery would change the course of the investigation. In the small town of Cingolo di Sola, approximately 10 kilometers south of Brembate di Sopra, a shocking revelation awaited. Hilario Scotti, a middle-aged man, was flying his remote-controlled airplane when he noticed something unusual among the tall grass. As he landed the aircraft to retrieve it, he stumbled upon a pair of shoes. His heart sank as he realized that they belonged to Yara Gambirasio. Scotty immediately alerted the authorities, who descended upon the scene with a sense of dread. Their worst fears were confirmed. The remains of 13-year-old Yara Gambirasio lay before them, in an advanced state of decomposition. She was still clad in her black bomber jacket, Hello Kitty sweatshirt, and black leggings. Nearby, they found her iPod, house keys, and the SIM card to her phone, along with a phone battery. Tragically, the phone itself was nowhere to be found. Yara's body was transported to the coroner's office, where renowned forensic pathologist Professor Cristina Cattaneo conducted a thorough autopsy. The examination yielded a wealth of forensic evidence, painting a grim picture of Yara's final moments. Despite the advanced decomposition, Cattaneo determined that Yara had not been sexually assaulted. However, she had suffered several stab wounds, none of which were fatal. Additionally, she had been struck on the head, possibly rendering her unconscious. The cause of death was ultimately attributed to exposure to the cold, leading to hypothermia. Disturbingly, trace amounts of lime were found in Yara's respiratory system, and jute, a vegetable fiber used to make rope, was detected on her clothing. These discoveries hinted at the involvement of an individual with knowledge of the construction industry, as lime and jute are commonly used materials. The investigation had reached another dead end, but forensics was about to uncover another crucial clue. 2 months later, in April 2011, a forensic scientist made a breakthrough. A trace amount of DNA was detected on Yara's leggings and underwear. This minute sample was amplified and analyzed, revealing an unknown male DNA profile. The profile was assigned the code name Unknown 1. While they now had a DNA profile to work with, Italy lacked a comprehensive DNA database against which to test it. Prosecutor Letizia Ruggieri faced a critical decision. She realized that to identify the killer, they needed to undertake one of the most extensive and costly investigations in Italian history. The search for Unknown 1 was about to begin in earnest. Ruggieri divided the task force into specialized teams. The local police were tasked with collecting DNA samples from Yara's family, friends, and everyone at the gym. The military police were assigned the daunting task of tracking down all the phone users who had moved between Brembate di Sopra and Cignolo di Isola. Once located, each individual was to be questioned and their DNA collected for testing. Ruggieri then turned her attention to the area where Yara's body was discovered. She deployed a team to gather DNA samples from members who frequented the nightclub Sabi Mobili. The nightclub had a reputation for violence, and Ruggieri suspected that the person responsible for killing Yara may have either frequented the club or been familiar with the area. By the end of the campaign, the police had amassed over 15,000 DNA samples. Geneticists from Parma, Pavia, and Rome worked tirelessly to transform the raw DNA samples into a form that investigators could analyze and compare. The goal was to find a match for the elusive Unknown 1. As April turned into May, the search for a DNA match expanded beyond the immediate circle of Yara's family and friends. The investigation team cleared Yara's family and close friends after their DNA samples did not match the profile. On May 28, 2011, 6 months after Yara's disappearance, her body was finally released to her family. Large crowds of onlookers lined the streets as Yara's white coffin was transported by hearse to the sports center where she had spent countless hours training. The community gathered outside the sports center, watching on a big screen as the Gambarazio family said their final emotional goodbyes. President of the Republic Giorgio Napolitano sent his condolences to the family, and his message was broadcast during the funeral. The procession then proceeded to the Cementerio di Brembate di Sopra, where Yara was laid to rest between her grandparents. Her grave was adorned with a simple headstone, featuring a photograph of Yara smiling, her name engraved in stone. Despite the extensive investigation and the collection of thousands of DNA samples, the identity of Unknown 1 remained a mystery. Prosecutor Ruggieri faced mounting criticism for her seemingly fruitless efforts and the exorbitant costs associated with the investigation. However, Undeterred by the pressure, Ruggieri continued to work behind the scenes, determined to find a link between Unknown One and the nightclub Sabi Mobili. Her hunch proved to be correct. One of the nightclub goers' DNA samples bore a striking resemblance to that of Unknown One. Investigators closed in on the man and brought him in for questioning in June 2011. His name was Damiano Garanoni. However, he was quickly exonerated. Firstly, he had a solid alibi, as he was in South America at the time of Yara's disappearance. Secondly, DNA analysis revealed that while the sample was similar, it was not a 100% match. It was surmised that Damiano was not the killer but was related to Unknown One in some way. Upon further investigation, a startling revelation emerged. Aurora Zani, Damiano's mother, had been employed as a domestic worker for the Gambirasio family for over a decade. This connection raised eyebrows and prompted a thorough examination of the Garanoni family's ties to Yara. DNA samples were collected from every member of the family, but none yielded a perfect match. The results left investigators perplexed, as the initial lead seemed to be a strange coincidence. The investigation had reached another impasse, leaving them with only a vague notion that Damiano might be somehow connected to the unknown individual. Despite facing mounting criticism for her inability to produce concrete results despite her extensive efforts, prosecutor Letizia Ruggieri remained undeterred. She continued to work tirelessly behind the scenes, driven by her determination to uncover the link between Damiano and the unknown individual. Further inquiries into Damiano's family and potential connections within the Bergamo region yielded a crucial clue. Ruggieri's team embarked on the painstaking task of constructing a comprehensive family tree for the Garanonis. Months of meticulous research took them back in time to the year 1716. They meticulously gathered names, addresses, dates of birth, and places of birth, piecing together a vast tapestry of familial connections. Their relentless efforts led them to a small village named Curno, a short drive from Bergamo. Within the labyrinth of names and dates, they finally stumbled upon a promising lead. Damiano had a paternal uncle named Giuseppe Garanoni. A sense of optimism surged through the investigative team as they believed they were on the verge of unmasking the unknown individual. However, another obstacle awaited them. Tragically, Giuseppe had passed away 11 years earlier, in 1999. Determined to uncover the truth, investigators visited Laura Polli, Giuseppe's widow, in September 2011. Through extensive questioning, they managed to obtain DNA samples from 2 postage stamps that Giuseppe had licked. One was from a postcard he had sent to his family, and the other was from his driver's license, which required validation. These DNA samples were swiftly sent for analysis, and the results would propel the investigation to unprecedented heights. Astonishingly, Giuseppe's DNA exhibited a 50% match with the DNA profile of the unknown individual. This revelation indicated that Giuseppe was likely the father of the unknown individual. Further investigation revealed that Giuseppe had been married and had fathered 3 children, a daughter and 2 sons. Since the DNA belonged to an unknown male, both sons, Pierpaolo and Diego, were subjected to DNA testing. However, investigators encountered another hurdle. Neither of the sons matched the DNA profile, and they had no children of their own for further testing. Puzzled and determined, the investigative team grappled with the perplexing question of how Giuseppe's DNA could perfectly match that of the unknown individual, while his sons did not. This led them to a startling conclusion: Giuseppe had fathered another child, either from a previous relationship or an extramarital affair. Despite Laura's insistence that Giuseppe had been faithful throughout their marriage, investigators remained skeptical. They delved deeper into Giuseppe's past, encountering resistance from the tight-lipped community members who were reluctant to entertain the possibility of infidelity within their midst. Interviews with Giuseppe's acquaintances and former colleagues revealed a different side to him. Rumors circulated that he was known for his womanizing ways, suggesting the possibility that he had fathered another child outside of his marriage. The investigation took an unexpected turn as it unearthed long-buried secrets that had been carefully concealed for years. They meticulously examined Giuseppe Garanoni's life from 1960 onwards. A peculiar pattern emerged. Giuseppe had a habit of frequenting a spa resort south of Milan for 2 weeks every May, without his wife's knowledge. Ruggeri's team meticulously combed through the spa's records, searching for single mothers. They expanded their search to include orphanages in the region, conducting DNA tests on potential children of Giuseppe. However, these efforts yielded no conclusive results. Undeterred, they considered the possibility that the woman they sought may have been married and raised her children without informing her husband of their true paternity. The investigation was conducted with utmost secrecy due to the sensitive nature of this angle. Ruggeri's right-hand man pursued his own leads, while the Gambirasio family hired a geneticist to provide them with independent insights into the case. Through their combined efforts, they were able to exhume and analyze Giuseppe's remains, which further confirmed his paternity of the unknown individual with a stronger DNA sample. As the investigation reached its climax in March 2013, the prosecutor received groundbreaking evidence that would change the course of the case. His relentless pursuit of leads, aided by his canine companion, led him to interview various individuals, including former colleagues of Giuseppe at the bus company. One of these former colleagues whispered a name that would unravel a web of deceit. Upon further investigation, they discovered that the woman in question was Esther Arzuffi, a former neighbor of Giuseppe in the late 1960s and early 1970s. A swift cross-check of DNA records revealed that Esther's DNA had already been collected in July 2012, but due to a laboratory error, it had been tested against Yara's DNA instead of the unknown individual's. Esther's DNA was promptly retested, and the results were nothing short of explosive. Esther Arzuffi was the mother of the unknown individual. Investigators arranged a meeting with Esther Arzuffi to confront her with their findings. She vehemently denied having an affair, insisting that her children were fathered by her husband, Gianni Bossetti. However, the truth was far more complex and disturbing. A shocking revelation emerged: all 3 of Esther's children had different fathers. DNA analysis confirmed that her youngest son was not biologically related to either Giuseppe or Gianni. The next step was to identify the father of the other 2 children. They were a pair of twins, a boy and a girl. The girl was ruled out, but investigators turned their attention to Esther's son, Massimo Giuseppe Bossetti. Ruggeri and her team delved into Massimo Bossetti's background. He was a 42-year-old married man with 3 children. He resided in Mapello, near the location where Yara's phone had last pinged off a cell tower. Coincidentally, he worked in the construction industry. Crucially, one of the key identifiers of the unknown individual was that he would have light-colored eyes. Massimo fit this description perfectly, with his short stature, tan complexion, and piercing blue eyes. He was also known to be a party enthusiast within the local community. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Ruggeri's team moved swiftly to obtain Massimo's DNA before the media caught wind of the investigation. They devised a strategic plan to approach him without arousing suspicion. On June 15, 2014, they set up a fake roadblock, where police officers stopped drivers for breathalyzer tests. As Massimo's car approached, they saw their opportunity. This was likely their only chance to secure the DNA they needed. To ensure a fail-safe, they requested 2 separate samples. Confidently, Massimo complied with the test. When the officers informed him that the test kit was faulty, he surprisingly agreed to a second test. Unaware that he had just sealed his fate, Massimo drove away. Ruggeri immediately ordered an overnight DNA analysis, and the results were astonishing. They had finally identified their suspect. Massimo Bossetti was the unknown individual. Despite the compelling evidence, Ruggeri opted not to apprehend Massimo immediately. Instead, they closely monitored his movements. However, fearing that news of the investigation would leak and Massimo would become a flight risk, they decided to take action. On June 16, 2014, Massimo Bossetti was arrested. While in custody, investigators wasted no time in gathering additional evidence. It emerged that Massimo frequently loitered around Yara's house. He often parked his car behind the sports center and frequented a pizzeria near her family home. He was also a regular at a tanning salon close to Yara's house. As they delved deeper, investigators uncovered a disturbing pattern. Massimo's internet searches revealed a preoccupation with young girls, painting a picture of an individual with an unhealthy obsession. His phone records further implicated him, placing him in Brembate di Sopra on the evening of Yara's disappearance. His phone had been switched off from 5:45 p.m. until 7:34 a.m. the following morning. More incriminating evidence emerged from CCTV footage obtained from a local bank. The footage showed Massimo's white Iveco daily van, which he used for work, driving around the area on the night of Yara's disappearance. Forensic analysis of the van's seat revealed that materials found on Yara's clothes matched those found in Massimo's van interior. Despite his persistent claims of innocence, Massimo Bossetti stood trial in July 2015 at the Court of Assizes in Italy. His defense team argued that the evidence against him was the result of cross-contamination. Massimo alleged that his work tools had been stolen and that the blood sample found on Yara's clothes could have originated from one of his trowels, as he had sustained an injury at work and bled on his tools. The defense also presented Massimo's wife, Marita Comey, as an alibi. However, phone records proved that they had no contact on the night of Yara's disappearance, refuting this alibi. The prosecution presented a wealth of evidence, including DNA samples, forensic evidence from Massimo's van, internet searches, and telephone records. They meticulously laid out their case, detailing what they believed had transpired on the evening of November 26, 2010. According to the prosecution, Yara was running late to return home and accepted a ride from Massimo. He then deviated from her intended route and overpowered her in his van. After subduing her, Massimo took Yara to Cignola di Sola, where he attempted to assault her. Yara fought back fiercely, prompting Massimo to strike her over the head with a blunt object in a panic. Believing her to be dead, he abandoned her there and fled the scene. Tragically, Yara was unable to move due to blood loss, which left her in a weakened state. She eventually succumbed to hypothermia. After hearing both the defense and prosecution's arguments, the Court of Assizes reached a verdict on July 1, 2016, a year after the trial commenced. Massimo Bossetti was found guilty of the murder of Yara Gambirasio and sentenced to life in prison. The Court of Appeals upheld the verdict in July 2017, and the Court of Cassation confirmed Massimo's life sentence in October 2018. In November 2019, Massimo's defense team requested a review of the DNA results, but their request was denied in March 2021 as there was no more DNA left to analyze. This led to accusations of misdirection and trial fraud against prosecutor Letizia Ruggieri. In December 2022, Massimo's defense team alleged that Ruggieri and her team had fabricated evidence to implicate him as a scapegoat in the crime. Ruggieri has since been under investigation. While Massimo Bossetti remains incarcerated, his mother, Esther Al-Zufi, continues to deny her infidelity. The case has taken a toll on his family, with his twin sister facing attacks after the defense portrayed Massimo as a devoted family man. His marriage has also been strained, with two individuals coming forward to claim they had affairs with his wife, Marita. The Gambarazio family has been deeply affected by Yara's loss. They have established a gymnastics trophy in her honor, and both Mora and Fluvio have retreated from the public eye. Fluvio is often seen visiting Yara's gravesite in the early evenings, paying his respects to his beloved daughter. The case of Yara Gambirasio stands as a stark reminder of the complexities and challenges that can arise in the pursuit of justice. With its twists, turns, and lingering questions, it remains a captivating and thought-provoking story that continues to resonate with people to this day. Don't hesitate to let me know your thoughts about this story in the comments section, and please to like and subscribe. This will help my channel to grow. Thank you for watching.